On today. How's it going?
I'm Jared Williams, Program Director for Family Service Center.
I'm Stephen Fowler. I'm a fatherhood coach and therapist at Family Service Center.
Willis, Guidry, owner and founder of Brave Asset Group.
All right. So there's an event. It's coming up. Jared, let's talk about the event real quick. When is it and who is it for? And then we're going to have some fun.
It is this Thursday, December 21st at 6 p.m. Johnae's Kitchen. You know, we spoke about our fatherhood events here before on the show, where we inviting all fathers from Galveston County to come out and become better. That's our goal, is to help fathers in this area become better. And now my thought process going forward with our program is to start bringing more assets, right? Start bringing more things that the fathers can actually use, monetary, things that they can take away from our events and better themselves. Instead of just us talking. Us talking is always good, but let's leave with some ideas, with some resources, to better our lives.
Talking about bringing tools, like what can people take and so then, looking at this, it says financial literacy, credit, some other things as well, right?
Right. So that's where my boy Willis coming in at. Willis is a very, for me personally, like Willis is a very special person for me. I grew up with Willis. I've seen Willis thrive, and I'm so proud of him just as a friend, just to see his growth that he's made, and I know where he came from with it,
Yeah.
And for him to be where he's at today and willing to come back and give that to, like, our fathers here is amazing, because a lot of people don't do that, A lot of people go off, they be successful, and they don't necessarily give back or even care, But this is something Willis has been talking to me about for years, but doing. And he's very passionate about it, like really just, man, I want to help. I want to be able to give the knowledge that I've gained from other people, give it to where I come from, I think that's a major issue with our fathers around here, right? I'm going to be just blunt and say it's a lot of people making good money around here, right? But we're spending it on jewelry. We're spending it in the clubs, we're spending it on clothes. That has just been our culture for people, a lot of people here in our area. But so to give them, and I say they're doing it, well, we are doing it, right? But it comes from the lack of knowledge, things that we're not taught when we're growing up, how to handle our money, what to do with our money, how to grow our money, So to see, like I said, what Willis is doing and willing to give back and give that knowledge, I think is amazing.
Yeah, one thing that, and you see this whenever people, I saw, it was a reel of Chris Paul talking the other day, hey, when I got my first NBA contract, but, I didn't get an NBA contract, but I did get a job that, that pays, and it's like, oh, now what do I do? But even on a my scale, like, what can I do? And Willis, I always see, and I see you on the flyer here and the financial literacy, but what are you going to be sharing and talking on at this event?
Well, really and truly, I like to teach people about passing a baton. A lot of people bring up that it's a marathon. This whole process is a marathon, and that's not true, because a marathon, you typically run a marathon by yourself. When you run a relay race, you got to pass a baton to somebody. So, at this point in my life, I've come to realizing that I must pass the baton on. That's why I was so eager to help Jared. And one of the foundations that I teach on is what I call the 4 C's of financial stability, not financial freedom, because I don't want to get anybody to start thinking that this, whatever he's sharing, is actually going to free me. It could, but I just want to make sure that you're stable with the information. And what I teach on is credit, cash flow, crypto, and contribution. Now, all 4 of those C's play a major part in each one of our lives in this room right now. The thing is, we haven't even tapped into it yet to realize how important that is. For me, just to kind of take you back, I was a finance manager, sales car. I sold cars in a dealership for years, internet director. I've held every position within a dealership, and I saw that the basis of everything was based upon credit. And I had a mentor named Paul who told me, Willie, this is what he used to say, Willie, get your credit together and you'll be unstoppable. At the time, I didn't understand it, because I was making a lot of money, and I was just blowing through that money, like Jerry said, spending it on cars, spending it on clothes. And when I got out of that industry, I kind of evaluated that entire experience and was like, you know what, wait a minute. Instead of me actually going to actually work for money, let me see if I could build my credit and I can partner with some of these institutions that will lend me money to create a cash flow. And that's the concept that I want to get everybody to not only think of, but believe in. If you build your credit, your business credit, you can create a cash flow from that. You know, and I think we have in our minds that we have to work all of these hours. I worked in BP. You know what I'm saying? Any job that's out there right now, I've held. So I can honestly say that none of those jobs made me or got me to where I am now. It was probably a building block from that, but it wasn't the actual thing that was like, oh, that was it. That one job. Because it's not a job out there that's going to get me to $1 million a year or $2 million a year. It's actually me putting in the work and having the tools and the necessary plan of action to get me to $1 million, $2 million a year. Now, for me, I have siblings, you know, I have cousins, so passing that information along to them was like key. And it was like, man, Jared, I owe you this, bro. I texted him this morning. I was like, bro, I owe you this. Like, we've been talking about it for years. And he said, nah, you don't owe me, you owe the people. I was like, man, you know what, you're right. So the people actually need to get this and actually need to apply this. You know, every single Wednesday night, I teach a class for free on credit, on business credit, on creating e-commerce stores, you know, on creating a cash flow, on contributing to life insurance or to a church or to some organization of your choice, and also on crypto too. So I think, you know, what I teach is stability, you know, not the freedom part, but the stability side of the financial side.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And, you know, this isn't, you know, 30, you know, or our parents or however many, you know, years ago, it's like you almost have to have, you know, multiple streams of income, you know, a side hustle. A lot of people do. You got to, you know, figure it out because if not, I mean, people are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Trying to survive right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So, you know, why are you involved with this family service center, these programs? Why get involved with that?
Anything in my life that I'm doing right now and has been for the last few years, I find purpose in it. I'm a purposeful person. Like, I can go get a better job. I could literally have been offered positions to go do a lot of different stuff, making different money, you know. But purpose, I'm all about purpose, you know. I feel like I was on this earth to do some work, you know. I'm on a mission, and that's what's important for me, you know. I love helping people. I guess people say that I'm a cancer, right? I'm not really into all that, but to be honest, I'm really not. But a lot of people say, "Oh, Jerry, you're real caring. You love me." But like that's just me, you know. I'm the type of person I want to see everybody successful. I don't care if you're mad at me, Guidry, we haven't talked or whatever, but I want to see you successful. I want to see your kids successful. I want to see your family happy. I want to see you thriving, you know. So, and I was blessed, and it was I ain't gonna say it was by accident. I kind of fell into this job, but it wasn't planned, you know, and opportunity came, and I never had heard of the Family Service Center at the time, and definitely not the Fatherhood program. I think when we first started, I know when I first started, Stephen started a little before me. I think we had, like 8 people in the, we had 8 people in the program, and my goal is to grow it to at least 100, you know. That was last year. We had 8 people. I think we served, 41 families this year in 2023. So we went from 8 to 41 this year. And if I really feel like we can get to 100 by May, you know, and that's my goal. We get 100 people, 100 men on the same page here in Galveston County, striving for the same thing, we really can make a change around here, you know. I've lived an amazing life, Guidry. Like, I've got to travel. I did things I love to do. My kids are amazing. I'm blessed, you know. And I want better for myself and my kids and for everybody else's, you know. And that's just me genuinely. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't really talk about myself like that, but the type of person that I am, I just want to see people win. I know it's hard, you know. I know life is hard. I know it's a lot of single mothers out there. I know it's a lot of single fathers out there. I have a cousin who's raising 4 daughters by himself, you know, and he's going to work every day. He's hustling. He's bustling, right? But he wants to leave a lot of stuff for his children. He can't do that working. And he has a really good job, but he won't make it there of just going to work every day, you know. So we want to leave legacy, we want to leave tradition, we want to leave, you know, things for our kids and our families. So we have to find different resources and different avenues to make that possible.
Stephen, if somebody hasn't heard of Family Service Center before, you know, where are y'all located and what all do y'all offer?
Okay, so we're located in the Mall of the... Well, we have two locations, technically. We're located in the Mall of the Mainland, where it's like 10,000 M&F Lowry, and it's like in the executive suites area. It's right by Restaurant Row. And then we also have a location that's in Galveston that's it's kind of near the... what would you say it's near? I don't have... It's on Market Street. That's where. Yeah, so we have a location
on Market Street.
Yeah, so right there on the Strand. So honestly, anytime somebody's requesting services, being able to just stop by the office and just ask, what do I qualify for? And then more than likely we'll be able to have somebody that would be able to get you into a program and be able to help you or your family. And just like real quick off both what these two men said, it's kind of like being able to have success on your own is like it's all attainable. It's nothing that's not realistic, but being able to have that opportunity to share that success. And I think that's what's important about this event too. This is information that you could go back and take back to your family. You could go take back to, you know, your friends at work or whatever like that to help spread the word. And it's like the relevance of this event, like you also have people who are like, I'm not saying we're going through a recession right now, but there's inflation. People like, hey, your dollar isn't getting you as far as it used to. That's why investing's so important right now, knowing how to save for your children so that they can have a brighter, better, easier future. It's really important that it's kind of like this information gets back to the community, and then from there, keep passing that baton. I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there resources for moms and like mothers as well?
So we're working on a partnership coming up in January to kind of be able to help some of the younger moms that are still like going through the mothering process as well with Adria's Women's Health. And we're also going to be starting up an in-person fatherhood group starting on January, I believe it's January 16th. So it'll be an in-person fatherhood group that we're also going to be doing in partnership, so the mom could be able to receive services there, and the dad could also be able to attend the group meetings and be able just to have the whole family in the same place. So I think that's really important.
Family Service Center, our focus is mental health. Mm-hmm. We have services as well for the entire family to receive, you know, therapy sessions from kids to the mothers, from domestic violence victims. We even have counselors in a lot of school districts. Well, some of the school districts around here locally. We have counselors in Dickinson ISD. Who else?
We have Dickinson. Actually, it's all of the counties in Galveston County. They would all qualify to be able to come in and get services. We're in the Odyssey Academy, too. That's over in Texas City, Galveston, in El Lago. So, and we're in some of the Galveston ISD schools too as well. So definitely being able to meet the people where they're at and be able to help them where they are and not remove some of the barriers that typically come from getting help with mental health services.
Willis, you know, where do you normally see people are lacking? Or, you know, like what's a good place to start? You know, when it comes to finances or for any just knowledge in general, you know, where do you normally see people lacking?
Honestly, it's just credit. That's typically where a lot of people lack it. The understanding of it. Like they know of it, but the understanding of it and the know-how and the tools that's available to them to take advantage of. And not just that, understanding their consumer laws and rights, you know, as an individual. That right there within itself, you start learning about consumer laws, you start learning about credit, it literally opens up your mind to, oh my God, I've been taken advantage of this entire time and I didn't know. You know, and that's where it was for me. It was me getting hold of one book I can't even, it was so long ago. That was 2016 I read this book, but I got a hold of this book by Corey Smith. And he literally broke down like the basics of credit. And I read this book in one night. I stayed up all night reading this book because I got so intrigued. But not only that, my back was against the wall, and I was determined to kind of find something at that moment to get me off that wall. So just the lack of understanding of it and how powerful it truly is. You know, some of the things that your bank may tell you is not to benefit you, it's actually to benefit them. Some of the things that maybe a realtor or a mortgage lender may tell you is to actually benefit them, not actually you. But if you know these things, you can go in with the upper hand to where it can benefit you the entire step, you know, and not feel like, oh man, I got taken advantage of when I bought this car. You know, a lot of my knowledge came from within the car industry of just seeing all of these different people come in, and I'm like, oh, you're buying a $70,000 truck? Like, wow, how are you going to pay for this here? You know, oh, you're buying this $100,000 Shelby? Like, whoa, like, and now to be able to go and do these things myself, it's like, oh, that was easy. Oh yeah, I can go buy a car in 5 minutes and be in and out because I understand something that most people don't want to understand, or most people fear to understand. And I think that's what it is. I think, you know, if we get exposed to information, you can never kind of be like, well, I didn't know that. You know, like if I showed Jared right now, like, hey bro, this is how you make $5,000 every single month or every other day, Jared will never be the same. He won't. He'll be like, wait a minute, I put in 80 hours last week, only made $800, but you just showed me something and I only got to put in an hour to make $5,000 every 2 days or every week or every month. Like, again, it's being exposed to certain things and having an understanding of those things that you're being exposed to. Like, literally diving deeper into the mess that you already have. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen when you dive deeper into your mess? You just start cleaning it up. You realize that my desk is full. I need to clean it up a little bit. And now I can kind of operate with a different level of understanding, you know, as I go out to pursue these things.
That's awesome. All right, if you're just now joining us, I'm hanging out. We're talking about the Fatherhood program that's taking place with Family Service Center. There's going to be a meetup December 21st, 6 p.m. at Johnae's Kitchen. That's going to be at Mainland City Centre, right?
Right.
And I think that the meal's included. There's some different things.
Yes.
And I haven't had the chance to go to Johnae's at that new spot yet, but, you know, what can they look forward to if they're there, you know, food-wise?
Yeah, so if you know Johnae, you know she can cook, of course. I think we're gonna have chicken, baked chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, some type of vegetables. But Johnae's food is amazing. She is a very successful caterer in this area. She has done a lot of things with the school districts now, and she does big events, and her food speaks for herself. You know,
Right.
She's a pretty amazing at what she does. She has a passion and a great heart for what she does too. She's helped me out a lot, even with the charges. You know, I've asked Johnae, try and do this fundraiser, right? She was, oh, well, Jerry, I got you. You know, let me know. You know what I mean? What day, whatever it is. Like, she's extremely to help. She's helped myself. I know she's helped other youth organizations here in this area to raise funds for their programs. And she's just an amazing person. And she's truly living her purpose too, as well. You know.
Yes.
She has a passion for what she does.
You know, we've had the chance to work with a lot of different businesses, and one thing that I've seen is it's hard to be in the restaurant and the food industry. So if you've lasted and been around and been in catering and, you know, in brick and mortar and food trucks, like, it's a really hard industry to be in. So I always look to see who's supporting the community, who's supporting, you know, me if I need something, or my family, and that's who I try and support.
Right.
So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's, when I say that, like, I'm trying to choose my words carefully, right? Because it's amazing what she has done, right? She's been open for I want to say 3 or 4 years. And she's been in several different locations. She moves strategically. Like, she's not the type of restaurant that's going to be open from 7 to 7 every day, right? Like, she has a certain day and times. Like, you're going to come eat, and she's obviously been successful because she's continuing. She's able to move that way. And it's impressive for me. Like Wednesday, she putting out a schedule or a menu, and 11 to 2, and that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like she have her certain days, and like that's just what it is, and she's successful at it. She has great waiters. You know what I mean? The people who she has helping her are very well trained. Her kitchen, she just posted the other day how every inspection that she's had has been 100. You know, and she's, like I said, she's been in business for 3 or 4 years. I don't know any restaurant or anybody that can have that consistency of perfection. You know what I mean? Like,
they don't just give those out.
Right. Yeah. And she posted it. Like, she took a picture of it and posted it. Like, 100. I get these out. You know what I mean? Like, that's impressive.
Yeah,
man.
they look for reasons. They're looking for any little thing.
Yeah.
Galveston County, good job, guys.
Just to kind of go off what you were saying with Johnae, her hours, I think what she's doing with her hours, she's kind of setting that desire up for the community to want to have her food.
Right.
Like, oh man, she's only going to be open at this time. Let me go.
Yeah.
She's creating that sense of urgency too. Like, it's kind of like you give them something and then you take it away.
Yeah.
And now people are like, man, that was so good, but I can't go from 7 to 7. I got to go between 11 and 2.
Right.
And man, I'm gonna go be there. I'm gonna make sure I'm there. And that's smart. Like you say, that's strategic too, because a lot of people don't look at that. A lot of business owners, they say, I got to be open all day long.
Yeah.
I tried that to where it was like I was available for my customers all day. And then I was like, wait a minute, you know what? Nah, I'm going to make it to where it's harder for them to get in touch with me. And they know that I do good work. And then they'll want to come to me and they'll go based upon my hours, my, my fee, whatever the case may be. So now I'm able to go and charge, $10,000 or $25,000 for a session, because I'm not just for everybody. It's for a small selective group of individuals that understand what it is that I do and how I can do it and how I can help them. And then from there, it's like, oh, I want to work with Will. Well, Will's not just going to work with everybody, although I can, and I have something that everybody can benefit off of. I learned that everybody isn't my customer. And I just can't service everybody like she can't service everybody.
Right.
So yeah, that's smart of her.
Yeah, I see that. I think there's like a tattoo artist. You follow those, like some tattoo artists I've seen. It's like, hey, I'm booked this year.
I'm booked for the year.
If you want to get in, maybe start booking like 2025 or something like that. But
seriously,
you're going to wait, and it's like, and you're going to pay, this is the price. And if you want to pay, you can book now. This is, next year the price may be different.
Right.
I'm not available. I'm unavailable. So sometimes it's okay to make yourself unavailable in business instead of trying to, weasel in. But I see that with barbecue places. There's a local one. It's like, hey, we open at 11 and we close when we're sold out. So it creates that.
Let me get there.
I got to get there 11:30, 12 o'clock, because they're going to sell out of the big old, beef rib, or the brisket's going to be gone. So, that's
so to be able
good.
to come and get a meal like that for free. Right?
Yeah.
And you get to listen to Will. You get to listen to Devin. Devin also is going to come. Devin Daniels, he's from here, a great guy. He does a lot of good work as well. So, man, I think this event, me and Willis talking about doing more than one of these events, right? Talk about making it like a series. The response that I've gotten so far from the community has been amazing. I think everybody pretty much know what to expect, Having Willis, man, I listen, like, that's my boy, and that's my, like I said, I grew up with him, but I have a lot of respect for the guy, man. Like, a lot of respect for him. I love everything that he's done, man. Me and him been on the phone for hours talking about different stuff, and every time he's inspired me. Like I said, years ago, he inspired me. He told me years ago that we was going to be doing this.
I did.
He did.
Before it even happened.
I didn't see it at the time. I'm like, man, you do it, right? I'm like, you just go and do it. He's like, nah, Jay, it's going to be you. Like, I was like, nah, bro.
And I told him it had to be somebody that was still closely knit to the community to create this. Even though I have so many ties within the community, I wasn't closely knit as he is. Because when I got my job, my big break, I left. I moved to Houston. I moved further out into Woodlands because I was like, well, it's a better lifestyle for me out there. And even though I'm still here and I still communicate with everybody, my face isn't around as much as Jared's face. So it wouldn't be right for me to come back down here and try to create something within my community and I hadn't been around, it would be smarter for me to partner with somebody that's been within the community for a long period of time. That way, it kind of, the transition for people to listen is easier versus like, man, bro, you haven't been here in years. Like, you haven't done anything in the community lately. Like, so that's why I was like, bro, I just partner with you. Like, nah, I don't need to do this here. Like, this is your thing, and I'm just coming to support you. But just to kind of touch on Devin Daniels, Devin has been, so obviously we grew up with Devin, you know, here. Devin was my high school teammate, classmate, those things. Me and Devin didn't see each other for almost 15 years. And we saw each other one night, I think in 2017, we saw each other in a nightclub, you know, with Dion. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was like, man, I hadn't talked to you in years. You know, I started talking to him and started realizing that Devin was a life coach. And it was at the perfect time in my life because I was transitioning from employee to full-time entrepreneur, meaning I had my mindset that I was just going to go full on with this, but I still needed some type of guidance from from someone. And that's where most of us make the mistake, is that we don't want to seek that guidance because we may feel like somebody's going to judge us, or we want to feel like we did it on our own. But I'm the type of person, like, if you know something that I need to know, if you can teach me something that can better my life, I want you to teach me regardless, okay? Right. If I respect you enough, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to do everything. So Devin was one of the ones that literally came into my life and made a huge impact, because as me transitioning to an entrepreneur, I had to get off my employee schedule and get onto my schedule. And that schedule looked like getting up early in the morning, having meditation, prayer, from there, finding time for my kids or finding time for myself to do certain things in my business, like maybe put 30 minutes into this business, an hour into this business, or whatever the case may be. But he was the one that actually helped me structure my entire schedule to where now it's like, it's a no-brainer. And I wish I would have brought some of my stuff, but I will at the event. I'll bring all of my notebooks that when Devin would speak, mm-hmm. I would take notes like crazy. Like, he would just be talking. Like, we just hung out the other night, and we was having a guys' night, and we literally talked in the parking lot for 2 hours. But it wasn't just about him talking to me. He was literally coaching me in the parking lot of a restaurant for 2 hours. Yeah. And I was able to take what he told me at that restaurant. I was like, okay, I'm going to apply it next morning. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's what you'll get from Devin, because a lot of us just kind of go, oh, I got to go do this, I got to go do this. He helped me prioritize what's important. You know, I can have a bunch of things on my list, but he helped me focus on just the top 20%. Mm-hmm. You know, that way I can have a good, effective day. That way I can get to that 100% mark of like, okay, I'm satisfied, because the top 20% things that was on my list, I accomplished the 80%. It just goes over to the next day, the next month, the next week, whatever the case may be. So what you get from Devin is literally going to be life-changing. You think what I'm talking about is life-changing? He's literally going to help you, like, raise your level of awareness to see how much time you're giving to something and how much time you're not giving to something. You know, a lot of people say, I want to do this, I want to create this. So how much time are you giving to it? Where are you taking time away and putting that towards that certain thing that you're saying you want to do? Like, that's something that he brings to the table. And when he speak, I'm telling y'all, listen, like, literally take notes when this dude speak. He speaks so soft, but it's so direct, and it's so like, oh, that hit me right in my face. Like, yeah. That's me. That's, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to Devin, man, just for being a great guy overall.
That's cool. That's cool. You know, and sometimes, you know, we are so, you're in the middle of it, and it takes an outside perspective to see what's really going on, because like, I want this. And like you said, well, how much time are you putting into it? Or even if like a family member, sometimes they're a little bit too close. Yeah. And there's already,
they can't see you.
They can't see, you know, and it's like, well, you don't understand what I'm saying. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But some, you know, outside perspective, okay, you know, I can hear this. Or you think about, you know, I know you do coaching you know, Jared as well. But like, you know, if you grew up playing sports, sometimes there's that outside influence that you see at a different level than this is my brother, my sister, this is my even your mom and your dad or whatever it is.
Right.
You know, that outside perspective that you know respect in that level, and it's like it's easier to hear that from that coach.
Yeah.
My uncle was mine. Coach Ford was mine. My outside when it came to sports. Like I had my normal basketball coaches, but then I had him. When I got on the phone with him, it was different. It was like, hey, you know, when you do this, and this. And I'm the same way now with his son, who's a sophomore in high school. When I go watch all his games and he get off the court, I'm like, hey, execute this, and this. Hey, let's work on this next game. Hey, you did great on this, but, you know, and he respects me for doing that because I pull him to the side and I'm like, yo, when you doing this here, you head down, go to the – and he's like, okay, yes, sir. You know, and he follows it. So, yeah, you're right. Sometimes, I mean, and even though his dad is his coach and he's a great coach, still that outside perception helps a lot because you're like, oh man, my dad probably missed that, but Will caught it.
Yeah,
he saw it.
And that goes to what we were talking about earlier, like how it takes a village.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's I truly believe in that. I literally. When it comes down to like my kids, man, and I love all my kids in my program like they're my own. You know, I show a lot of people didn't even know I had a son in the organization this year.
Because you show so much love to
I
everybody
show love
else.
to all of them, right? And now I don't know if I think I told you last week, but now we're getting ready to do basketball. So, bruh, it's a real live true passion. You know what I mean? And you need that because that's what we had growing up, right?
Yeah.
We had that growing up, and man. It wasn't here for a long time.
No.
Bro. Everybody was kind of on some selfish, just my kid, make sure my kid. But I literally have a group of people around me, bro, that has the same mentality. They love all the kids, man. We'll break their back and do anything for all the kids that's around us, and that's the goal. Like to build that village, you know. Like I said, at least 100 men, man, coming together, working towards the same goals, setting their families apart, helping everyone out. You know, it'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about, I guess, the hope for the basketball program that you're building?
Okay, so the city of Lamarck has never had a basketball program in the city of Lamarck. Well, no, it was still Tech City's basketball.
It was still Tech City's basketball program when we was coming up. Everything was ran through Texas City. We just played in Lamarck gymnasiums. I think they, you know, summer league. Remember summer league?
Cleveland Lane would run.
Cleveland
Lane
ran the summer league years ago. I played in that here. So man, me and Jared then played on so many teams together. Like literally growing up, football too.
Yeah.
We played on teams together. So
that's what, man. Like I told you before,
trying
to bring that back. You know, because it was so influential for myself. And when, like I said, I left, man, went off, played college ball, played arena ball, was gone for so long, and I came back and I seen it was like non-existent here, right? Yeah. So going through trial and error and learning a lot like I've did over the years, God put it on my heart to know, Jared, like it's opportunity here. You can do this, and the basketball is just the next thing. We're going to be doing track. We're teaming up with Beast Mode Track. Beast Mode last year has a location in North Houston, League City. Had one in Galveston County, but we're going to make it bigger. Working with the school districts, with the coaches and the principals in the Lamarck school districts, is a huge for me, you know, because these guys, we trying to build back their tradition, build back the expectation of being in Lamarck, of greatness, right? That our motto in high school used to be the tradition continues. Well, now we have to bring that tradition back, you know.
Yeah.
And right now with the basketball, I think we have close to 100 kids, or a little over 100 kids signed up. We had 100, including our cheer girls with football. We had 125. And all this has happened within a year. You know, it's happening fast. It's a lot, but, you know, it's all working out. You know what I mean? We have our bumps and our bruises. And I'm grateful for the people and my parents. Like, they're understanding. Like, they know my heart. They know I'm going to do whatever I can for the kids. And they know, hey, starting off, we're having some bumps. We haven't, like right now, like I called you last week about practice gyms and stuff like that. We having some bumps, but it's all working out, you know. So I'm excited for our future, man. For the city of Lamarck all together, you know, the highway is building is getting wider for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing.
That's
like,
yeah.
like that's another thing. Like kind of going off a different subject back to what we was. I don't know if y'all remember. I know people remember how 45 looked from Dickinson to League City.
It was nothing.
It was nothing, right?
It was nothing.
And now 45 South is finna be as big as Katy Freeway.
Yeah.
Right? So the area is going to grow. Everything's going to continue to get more expensive, right? And that goes back to our event, you know. We got to get this knowledge out here so people can start understanding and making moves so we can grow with our community.
Yeah.
You know, that's huge. And that's how I see it. Like things are getting, the Mark has the most frontage road, I think, available frontage road in Galveston County right now.
That's true.
And it's coming. You know what I mean? So you're either going to be here or you're going to get pushed out, right? It's going to be too expensive for you to live here. You're going to have to go somewhere else. But that's just the reality of the situation. And that's how the world works, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we either going to get together on the same page, get this money, right? And be able to grow with our community, or you're going to have to leave. Like, that's just the reality of it. And kind of harsh to say it like that, but that's where we at. But right now we're ahead of it, right? And we have opportunity. Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah. I like to say one thing that I did mention. I mentioned it to Devin the other day, and I was like, I think we all need to get closer to God.
Definitely.
If you kind of pay attention to where things are taking us, it's bringing us back full circle to His presence, you know, and to operate off the things that He already said. And one of the things that I always realize every time I read the Bible is that He never actually did anything. He always said stuff. So our words that we're using are the tools that we can build the community with. You know, the things that we're saying now are the things that's actually going to help us build the community. And not with just our physical hands, but our words, teaching our children the correct words to use that won't curse their life, you know, that won't hinder them from moving forward, you know, and taking words out of their vocabulary and out of their thought process that is slowing them down. And that's trying, should, you know, even good intentions, you know, those type of things. You got to be mindful of what you're saying to people too, because it's actually going to come to life. I said that to Jerry years ago because I knew the words that was coming out of my mouth would actually happen. Like everything that I've said actually has happened, not just for him, but for my life and for others' life. If I see it, you know, if I see that he has this great, amazing program, in about 2 years, he's going to have the top program within all counties because it's something that's never been created for men. You know, I think when I was growing up, we had at my church, Neighborhood Baptist Church, we had a program called Boys to Be Men. And it was literally the pastors, you know, some of the deacons that would take us, show us how to work on cars, you know, show us how to paint, show us how to fix different things. We don't have that. That's not the case anymore. The case that it is we want all our kids to be athletes. But then what happens after that is the most important thing.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of great athletes, and you have too, in this community. They were so sports driven that they didn't know how to do anything else. And when the sports didn't work out for them, they walk in 1765. Right. You know, we're trying to figure out what happened to them. Well, that's because they were so focused on one thing, they didn't have a bunch of things in their toolbox to use. Right. As for me, when I left the community, I started filling my toolbox up with different things, and not just with things, but with people too, that could push me along to the next level. You know, I started surrounding myself with like-minded people who would actually like force me to be greater than I am, and not just think about sports. Because here it is, I haven't touched the basketball in probably 15 years. I'm not even going to try to go play in a rec center or none of that because that's just one of the things that's over for me. And I realize that, and I let go of that part because now my toolbox is filled with different tools and resources that I can use other than sports. You know, and I think parents have to understand that there was only 5,000 NBA players total today. Ever been through the league, only 5,000. Think about that for a minute.
I got the numbers for football. Keep talking.
Yeah, think about that for a minute. Only 5,000 players ever since the NBA has been active has actually played. And now you got to look up, okay, there's over 10,000 plus, 20,000 plus kids playing for this one potential spot. Now, when you don't get that spot, what happens? What happens to you as a parent when that kid doesn't get that spot? Where do you take your kid after that letdown? You know, so I think kind of getting closer, again, back to God and finding out his ways and just moving in his ways. You know, if you want to learn how to make money, just King Solomon will teach you how to make money. It's not any outside force. It's already in the Bible. He teaches you how to make money. King Solomon put out a bunch of content. He wrote passages. That was his content. He didn't have a video like you and I, but he wrote a whole bunch of content out, and he wrote these books, and he put them out, and that was his way of making money. The things that he have in his head. But yeah, I think we just kind of got to go back to our main source.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Go back to what Willis was just saying about these sports, right? And people put so much into youth sports and thinking like, hey, I want my kid to go to the NFL, I want my kid to go to the NBA, right? I always tell people I love youth sports because it keeps kids active.
Yeah.
I don't like kids sitting inside on the TVs, on the tablets, on the video games all day long, right? That's just me personally. I know what sports done to me for youth, like build relationships like me, Willis, and other guys that's within our community. You know, we built the camaraderie to have a friendship like we have today. But this is the numbers for football, right? Over 1 million high school football players, 300,000 high school seniors, 70,000 NCAA players. Their percentage to high school players to NCAA is 6.5%. So think about that, 6.5%, right? And that's just to college. Now, that transitions to more numbers or whatever. So from college players to NFL players, 1.6%, that's your chances of your kid making it to the NFL, right? Like I said, for me, I focus on my kids, of course, developing them, right? Keeping them busy, especially our older kids, right? Our kids that's from 5th grade to 8th grade, man, that's the busiest time of the day and the most active time of the day of like just tragedy for kids. You know, getting into trouble. That's the highest point of the day. Like when we have practice from 5:30 to 8. Like that's the time when kids are getting out of school. If they don't have anything productive to do, they're getting into some type of trouble, right? But for them to build a plan, you know what I mean, have something like for my son, I have a 18-year-old, believe it or not, Gordon. But I have an 18-year-old man, and he's getting ready to go off to college, and it just my goal for him, I was like, man, I don't care if you go play another down of football, you know? You got a free education coming. And, like, I'm not worried about what school you're going to go to the NFL. I want you to go to the best school that's going to set you up to get your doctorates, you know? And for him to tell me, yeah, Dad, I want to go get my doctorate in physical therapy. Man, whew, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he has all the ability, the size, the talent, and everything to go further his career. And that's what's for him and God. Like, that's between them, you know? But my main focus was for him to get his education, right? Because I was that guy who had a Division I scholarship, went off, made some bad decisions, and didn't finish school. And I came home, and I was blessed to be in a situation I'm in today, but and to go back and be able to, you know, get my stuff together. But my goal for him is just to stay on the right track the entire time and have a good life, you know. And that's for all the kids, every kid, you know, that's my goal for them, is to be able to get some resources, stay busy, build yourself up, and prepare yourself to put your family in a better position, you know. And that's the big thing. I want parents to know, like, do not focus on your kid going to NFL. Do not focus on your kid going to Division I. Like I just said, it's 6.5%. And that was years. Those numbers came from years ago, right? So from 6.5% to 1.6% to make it to the NFL, Like, let's focus on something else, right? Let's focus on building them and gaining that knowledge like we're trying to do. Like, I'm bringing my son, and that's another thing. Like, if y'all have kids you feel like that's of age, bring them to the event, right? Because Will told me this years ago, too. He said, Jared, once you see certain things, you can never unsee it.
You can't.
Right? Once you gain certain knowledge, you will never forget that, right? Like, things that you will learn, things that you'll see going along life. Once you learn something that you never knew before, but it's so relevant and so effective, like you'll forever remember that. So bring your kids. Like, if you have a kid in high school, I think that's a great time.
Perfect
right?
time.
Because one of the things I'm working on right now is getting my 18-year-old son's credit right. You know, and I want my nephews, my cousins, like, to hear their friends. You know what I mean? I want everybody to like really just soak this up, man. It's a big opportunity. Like, I tell people all the time, man, you don't know what you can do with your credit. I got friends who's been working in refineries for years. They have the house, they have the cars, not necessarily happy with their career, but they're making money to where they're taking care of their family. And like, of course, that's what every man wants to do. But just far as their pure happiness, they're not there. And I'm like, man, what's your credit score? 720, 750. I'm like, okay. They was like, so what I'm gonna do with that? I said, man, there's a lot you can do with that, right? And it's hard for me to explain it because I don't have all the knowledge, right? But I know enough from talking to him and Devin and a few other people to know there is a lot of opportunity out there for people who have their credit together. So that's why this event was so important for me. Yeah. Because I know a lot of successful men that have good credit, but don't know what to do with it. My dad died at 60 years old with an 800 credit score. But didn't want to do nothing but go to work every day. You know what I mean? Like, and that's good, but Pops, like, it's a lot more opportunity, but
we can shortcut this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying we can shortcut this, Pops, with his 800 credit
right,
score.
You know, but he didn't know. Like,
he
it was a lack of knowledge, right? He grew up in an era where he was a Marine.
Work.
When he got out of the Marine service, he worked. He was a single father, had two older brothers that he took care of. Their mother really wasn't in the picture, but so his mentality was to work. He didn't give a darn about me playing football either. Like, Pops,
he was there, but he wasn't really worried about it like that.
Yeah, like, he was there, he supported me, but he was like, man, Jared, listen, you want to go to the military, or want to go to work? Like, it's one of the two, you know what I mean? And so for that mentality, that's what I say, it was just a lack of knowledge for a lot of people. They don't know, you know what I mean? Our school districts are not, I ain't gonna necessarily blame it on the school districts,
right? But they don't have those classes that I've seen, and if they are, it's an extracurricular, and maybe it's skipped over, but it's not a class. And the other thing is, like, these kids turn 18 years of age, and then the mail comes in with the credit card offers. I can get $250, $500. To me, that's a little bit criminal without. It really is without giving them any education, but it's coming. Right. So that's great that you had mentioned. Hey, bring in the, if you have some kids, if you have nieces, nephews, anybody, those young people, to get them exposed to that. Because with anything, it may not be the first time you hear it, maybe not the second or the third time. It's like, hey, maybe this is on to something, or they're going to hear it from someone else or something. And like, I think I know a little bit. I'm going to do some research to where if that offer comes in, is this a good thing or a bad thing, or what do I need to do? I'm not going to max it out. I'll pay it later. Maybe not. Yeah. Collections comes and your credit hits.
That was me in college. I was like, man, get a loan. I didn't care.
So, I mean, just like, right now, for instance, I bet none of y'all knew that not Bank of America, but Chase is giving out $250,000 to business owners. No docs. All you need to do is have 2 years business, and you need to have good personal credit. That's it. No docs. And they go based upon your personal credit.
Say that again, Willis.
They give you $250,000. This is on Chase's website right now. You can call them and talk to them right now. They give you $250,000. They go based upon your personal credit, 2 years minimum in business, $250K, up to $250K. Well, if I fall short of $250K, I'm cool with $50K. I'm cool with $75K, but it's a start. And a lot of the times that we want to go to work to save up that money.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Your job is always your first business partner. I always say that. So if you got a job right now, if you got a good job, a really good job, keep that job. Don't walk away from it and do the stuff that I did. If I was able to keep my job in a dealership and do what I'm doing now, oh my God. It's just, oh my God. But I was unfortunate where okay, I had to just do what I had to do without the job.
Yeah.
But I think we should use that as a tool. Our jobs, you know, they're our business partners. Those people are actually paying you to learn something if you think about it. Like when you go to work, they're giving you money to learn how to be boilermaker, pipe fitter, you know, machinist, RN, LVN, whatever the case may be, dispatch, you know, manager, whatever the case may be, they're paying you to learn a skill. And what you have to do with that skill is evaluate my experience with this skill and use that evaluated experience to create my own. And that's literally what I did. I took everything, I evaluated everything, what I knew how to do and what I didn't know how to do, and I created something out of it. And we are the creators first. You know, he made us last after he made everything else. He gave us dominion over everything before he gave everything else dominion over us. So once we start getting into our creativity and understanding that, hey, wait a minute, these are our business partners, you know, Marathon, BP, whatever the refinery is, Valero, these are our business partners. Okay, let's take what they've given us and let's go and create something that's long lasting and that's fulfilling for us with the money that they gave us. Not go buy, you know, this chain, this car. Those are the things that I've already done. Like I right now I have I think about 8 cars. And I'm not talking about like cheap cars. I have 8 high expensive cars. But what I do with those cars is I lease them out. And I understand that because of my experience. I evaluated my experience. I evaluated what the dealerships was doing. And I just went and created the same thing. So now I created a cash flow for myself every single month, leveraging what? My business credit. You see, it's that. See, that's why I'll be trying to like get people like, yo, this is like elementary to me because I've soaked in so much knowledge that I'm like, okay, well, I'll go buy a car. All right, you need a car? You got bad credit? Okay, cool. You got some money though. Okay, I'll take that $5,000 down from you, and then here's your truck, here's your monthly payment, and now I got $5,000 down, and I didn't even put no money down at the dealership because my business credit was that perfect. But I just created $5,000 just like that from going to make a purchase and doing a transaction for you because I knew you have the money, but you didn't have the necessary credit, the business credit to go and get this actual car. So that's what I mean by like literally evaluating some of the things that we do. I made a post about evaluating your experience. Experience is not the best teacher. It's not. Right. The evaluated experience is the greatest teacher of all because I can experience this podcast with you guys and I might not take nothing from it. It may not impact me. But if I sit and I evaluate it like, man, I was on there with Steve, man. Steve is over the family services. Like, okay, that can be a great impact for me. I was on there with Jared. Jared got a lot of kids in this program. You know, he's making a huge impact in the community. I evaluated that, and Jared can add value to my life, and I can add value to his. Or, you know what, Jared can actually impact other lives or other people's lives that I know. And that's me evaluating my experience with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you evaluate whatever you're doing right now, wherever you're sitting right now, evaluate what it is you're doing and see, how have I learned from this? What am I going to gain from this? Who is it going to impact? How will it impact me? Like, that's major. That's super major.
That's awesome. Jared, can you remind us one more time, when is this event? If somebody wants to learn more, how can they do that? How can they get involved?
The event is this Thursday, December 21st at 6 p.m. At Johnae's in Mainland, what is it? The Mainland
City Centre.
The Mainland City Centre. You know, it was Mainland Mall to me.
Yeah, Mall of the Mainland.
Yeah, it's Mall of the Mainland to me.
Yeah. So,
Corn Dog 7.
Yeah.
I don't know this new terminology.
Yeah, it's over there. I think they call it Restaurant Row. Right?
Yeah.
It's the old. It used to be Big Fields, and it was Drew Daddy's, now it's Johnae's.
You know what? Whenever they first started rebranding and all that stuff, I was like, y'all just need to bring back Corn Dog 7. And I'm not even joking. Like, but it's funny because at Stutt Garden, which is there now, and I've had the chance. I think I filmed and done some stuff there. If you go in the back, they still got it was like checkered tile and all this stuff. I was like, this is Corn Dog 7's story. We just knock this door out, deep fry them, and just hand them out here. So, sorry to interrupt you.
No, they was pretty special. Like you got me reminiscing. I just get and told you I have an eating problem.
Like you want to look for a Corn Dog 7 now.
Yeah, I'm over here thinking, man. Like, man, those corn dogs was good. So it's at Johnae's. 6 p.m. Thursday. This Thursday, y'all bring your brother, your kids, and mothers. If you have a son that's in high school, drop him off. You know, we'll make sure we text you to come get him, right? Or make sure that he's okay. We may even give him a ride home. You know, if need be. So just make sure the men, y'all come out, man. Take advantage of these opportunities. Like I said, it's going to be a lot more stuff that we're going to do. Me and Willis going to plan to do a lot more. And take advantage, y'all. Like, seriously, like, it's a lot of other resources. Right now, too, I want to go ahead and plug in the Chosen Ones Outreach, right? The Chosen Ones Outreach, Reverend Lawson. Right now, they're doing rental assistance. And they're doing rental assistance up for like 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Right? So, and he's down there on 6th Street in Texas City. He has a Facebook page, the Chosen Ones Outreach. It's in Galveston County. Right now, like I said, we getting ready to do basketball. Got a lot of different stuff going on, man. So y'all take advantage of the opportunities, man. Take advantage, y'all. Please do.
Stephen, is there anything else you'd like to share?
On top of that, just if you're interested in also getting in on the fatherhood groups, just talk to me. I'll be at the event. You could just pull me to the side, and I could let you know on how to get into the groups. Or if you want to just work on some things individually, like in therapy or whatever, I'm the one to talk to. I could get you in for a session. No problem.
Definitely. And if you have any questions, y'all, about the event, I'll give you my phone number, but just text me. 409-795-9711. 409-795-9711. Please text me, holler at me, y'all, and get there. If you need a ride, too, like, let me know. Like, we just want y'all to come out, man, eat, enjoy, but come out there and be a better. I guarantee you're going to be a better father when you leave. You're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better man. We have helped a lot of people already in the past from our events, and this, by far, is going to be our best one. I know for a fact. Like, I know the resources and the things that these guys are going to bring. You know what I mean? Like like I said, they have impacted my life, man. I've been on a journey over the last 3 or 4 years, and I've always kept in contact with Will, and he's always dropping jewels on me that I hold on to. You know what I mean? I try to live by it to better myself. So I know what these guys are going to bring. You know what I mean? So y'all please come out and take advantage again.
Yeah. You know, Stephen, one thing you said, you talked about, you know, like therapy, and we were talking about life coaching, or even just like just learning, because sometimes we get to that age where it's like, well, I don't need people telling me what to do, or if I talk to someone, there was like a weird stigma about it. You know, I feel like that's a lot better than it was, you know, 20 years ago. Yeah. But really, it's so important, you know, to talk to somebody, right?
Yeah, and the one thing about therapy too, it doesn't mean that like, hey, I went to therapy, I'm gonna have to do this for the rest of my life. No, there's some people, it may just be a few sessions. It may just be one set. Just being able to process an event. Sometimes you're getting thoughts out. I can't tell anybody else what was said in the office. So at that point, when you know that, like, hey, what I'm saying here, I'm leaving here, and it's like I'm able to take something away from it and then just go try to better my life in one area at a time is really just how we approach therapy. That's awesome. Definitely. Yeah.
Willis, is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, just real quick. I did a lot of therapy. I'm just be transparent. I went through therapy sessions after therapy session for multiple years, and it was more so to like better myself. I wanted to better myself, and I kind of wanted to break off all of the barriers and boundaries that was set on me as a child, and the stigma that was set on me as a child. So I went through 2 years of therapy with like one of the greatest therapists in the world, Jay Barnett. And this guy, he's impacted my life in so many different ways and actually helped me like understand myself as a man. I think one session he said, "What makes you feel most alive as a man?" He asked that question during a session, and I was quiet, and I couldn't answer that question because it had never been asked. and I had never thought about that before.
Yeah.
So he kind of helped me tap into what makes me feel most alive, and I started talking about an old school car, and you know how much I love cars, right?
Yeah.
The feeling of taking something that's sitting in a junkyard and just restoring it and making it like your own and putting your own style, your own flair on it, and then being able to have people compliment you on what you created just from the scrapyard. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I like that. You know, it was other things but that was the one thing that was like, see you smiling whenever you talk about that. And as a man, when you start like smiling and as you're talking about something, that's that one thing for you. You know, so don't be afraid of therapy. Like, don't be afraid of therapy. It's like one of the best experiences that any man could ever have. I do recommend that if you are struggling, seek therapy. Like literally, I had my neighbor, he killed himself the day before Thanksgiving. Like literally. And this is a beautiful neighborhood, gated community. See this guy every single morning, walking his dog. We stop, we talk, or whatever. You wouldn't think nothing was wrong with this guy, but he killed himself in front of all of his kids the night before Thanksgiving. And I'm literally seeing everybody in his yard crying because he did this in front of his family. Nobody knew he was going through it. So listen, I know as men, we like to kind of hold things in and we feel like, you know what, nobody will understand me, but there are people out there, individuals like Steven, that do understand you, that won't judge you, that'll give you the proper guidance, that'll give you the right tools to kind of help you get through that. And I'm pretty sure had I had that conversation with him, things would have went a little bit different, but I never knew. It never showed. Yeah. But now we have to get into a process of, hey, Jerry, you all right? You good, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's up? You want to talk about anything?
Right.
You know, I have a habit of calling my friends and say, hey, how's your heart and how's your mind? You know, because I want to know what's on their heart and what's in their mind, because their heart could be blocked. It could be filled with a bunch of hatred, bunch of doubt, bunch of cynicism. Their mind could be telling them that they're not worthy, they don't deserve to be here. And those are the things that we don't want to tell ourselves. We want somebody to tell us how worthy we are, how much your family actually needs you, how much they're expecting, you know, you to create something for them that's long lasting. So any man that's listening to this, any young man that's listening to this here, even a woman, seek help. Like literally,
no issues too small, no issues
nothing,
too big.
nothing.
And I can say, like, me sitting in on some of the sessions, man, has helped me. Right, we work with kids. I think we had like 4 or 5 boys from that was in Dickinson High School this year, and they have kids or they had a kid on the way. Man, I learned a lot from them. Like, that's the thing. That's what's so powerful about doing it in groups and being open and honest. Nobody's coming to our groups or our events with the mindset of I'm better than, or I know everything, right? Everybody's coming there to learn and grow, right? And that's our mindset. Like, man, no judgment zone. Let's literally, everybody in here, get on the same page and get better, right? Be better fathers, be better brothers, you know? And that's what's important, like just humbling ourselves, man, and growing and being better.
That's awesome. I appreciate you guys making time and coming in today.
Thank you, Guidry, man. Thank you,
man.
Again, y'all, my number is 409-795-9711. Text me, please, if you got any questions.
And for those of you that are looking to get into the credit space, trying to understand it, I do teach a free class every Wednesday via Zoom. I don't do one-on-ones. I only do it through a class. And that's because I want to help everybody at one time. And I want you to ask the questions that you may have. That way other people can gain the knowledge from those questions that's being asked. So when you do attend the event, if you want to get into that group, just let me know. I'll send you the link. And yeah, we'll just rock out from there, man.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
For sure. Thank you again, Guidry.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.
The page, flooded my heart with amazing grace. I knew